We are the weirdos, mister.
Hi, it's me, Audra. And did I film this video before and did not have the mic on? Yes. Should this video be sponsored by Truly and it isn't? Yes. However, it is sponsored by my patrons and channel members, without whom I would not be able to continue to create content on all three of my ridiculous channels. Thank you for being here today. If you haven't already, go ahead and click subscribe because I'm kind of awesome and it's a fun time. Also hit the notification bell because I go live from time to time and YouTube won't tell you that if you don't have the notifications on. Those were a lot of words. I'm not drunk. I'm sad. I'm like, I've only had like half of this and I ate like 3 pieces of Popeye's chicken, okay? Did we get what we ordered? No, it's Popeye's. But was it delicious? Yes, it's Popeye's. All right, y'all, so here we are. I feel like this is going up the day of the finale of Love is Blind. Let me check.
3 hours later.
Can you move it along? I'm all out of time, Carl.
That People article took too long. I did not care about anything that they were saying. I was just like, just tell me when the finale is, the reunion. Love is Blind Season 5 reunion. I think that is happening today, tonight, if I was able to get this video up in a timely fashion. I probably won't. Also, I'm so rusty, okay? Just give me a sec. Just give me multiple seconds to get this together. Anyway, with the Love is Blind season finale, also follow me on my other channel, subscribe to Audra Reigns, where we will be chatting about it. Like as soon as it's over and I'm functioning, we're gonna like get a drink, get like water, get a snack. We're gonna watch it. I think maybe we can watch it live, not on the channel, but we can all watch and react at the same time. It'll be on time. Anyways, that's what I'm gonna do. But it got my little brain to thinking, and that is why this video is off the cuff and nothing I ever do is scripted because I can't follow my own script. But it made me think to myself, how in the world did we get here? And by here, I mean, how have we gotten this far in society to where the only way of finding love at this point seems to be signing up for a reality show in hopes that you can find your romantic partner for however long that y'all believe forever is. So I started thinking about it and I was like, when did we get here? Because if you think about it, marrying for love is still relatively new in comparison to how long we have been society. Because up until, I think, the Industrial Revolution, I believe, we got married to like end wars. We got married to bring together 2 kingdoms. We got married to bring together 2 farms, like whatever it was. But we weren't marrying because love was what we needed. We were marrying because we had to. You married your daughters off to gain financial position and standing. So that's what it was. But then a lot of things changed. You no longer needed to be out there on the farm. We had machines, and it really changed the way that we as a society functioned, which means that we also changed the way that we married, which is why what was left was love. So we went with get married for love. And if you think I'm lying, like look at these old timey books, look at Jane Austen, look at all this stuff. Like back in the day, it was like, you must marry Mr. Darcy because blah, blah, blah. I am mixing all my stuff up because I watched too many movies. Please don't look at me. Look away. Have I read any Jane Austen? No. But have I watched the movies? Yeah!
I thought you were being sarcastic!
We're now in a position where we have advanced so far in society, and I'm trying to figure out and pinpoint when this happened. And I think it started in the 90s when we first started having internet dating. Yes, I'm taking us back because as an elderly person, and most of your elders, I think I reserve the right to tell you where internet dating started. And it started online, and those profiles were intense. And I feel like at the time it was like Match.com, and then coming up underneath it was eHarmony. But Match.com was the main one because they made it seem like you were going to have a serious relationship where you were going to get married. Sorry, I said it like that, but that's exactly what it felt like. Like, you're serious. You're so serious. Because the profile, like, y'all, it took you 92 years to fill out this profile. It was so in depth. All of your likes, all of your dislikes. Where would you like to go on a first date? What would you name your first child? What was the first animal you hunted? When was the first time you hunted a human being? Anyways, so sorry. It was a very long and in-depth profile. And the point of that profile was that it was supposed to match you up with people that had such similar likes that you would actually be interested in meeting that person. And for a long time, it did actually work. Like, I met somebody. I remember his name. I think his name was Wolf. It was Wolf. Yes. Listen, Audra, dated somebody whose name was Wolf. Very kind gentleman. It was the first time I had ever seen one of them not cut. And I didn't know what it was. I thought that, listen, I thought, you know what? No, his wasn't the first one I saw, I think. Listen, we're going on a little journey here. Come with me. I'm tired. I just got off of work. That's why I look all greasy. And no, his wasn't. It was a guy named Frank. Of course, his name was Frank. So awkward that I slept with someone named Frank. Anyway, he had one that was uncut. And when I tell you, I thought that there was something wrong with it, that maybe he was in a war or something. So I said nothing. I just was like, I figured he didn't want to discuss it. But then I found out from, his friends, I think, said something about it being not cut. And that's when I was like, so Wolf's was the second and the last one I saw like that. Listen, I don't want to talk about it, but I'm talking about it because, listen, I have to have a place to put all these weird thoughts of mine. And it's here on YouTube. And now you're part of this. I'm sorry. Anyway, he was a kind gentleman. I met him. And it was a good time. But when I tell you that once uploading your photo back then, like now it's like milliseconds. You put a photo up, bam. But back then, you had to really like the pic that you chose. The pic. Please keep in mind I said the pic. Because it took like 4 days for it to upload. And then your profile was ready. But the point is that back then, it wasn't condensed. It wasn't like 5 questions. It wasn't just like scrolling through. Like, you were getting quality matches. And then it was so rare that people wouldn't say that they met online or that they met at Match.com. What most people would say is if you met, you had a relationship and it was working out and people asked how you met, you would use your first date. You just both agreed to that as like how you met. You're like, we met at Chili's, like whatever it was. Listen, Chili's is kind of tits. I know that Chili's is odd, but it doesn't give me the runs. Yes. Did you need that information? No. Do you have it anyway? Yes, you do. Anyways, you were embarrassed to say that. And now it's like not even a thing to be on Tinder or Hinge. People are regularly on TikTok just doing all of the most with these profiles to like dog people out for their ridiculous things. They got me to thinking as to how did we go from meaningful human connection to John 38 abs Dick V? Like, how did we get there? And I think that part of it is that there's always going to be people gaming the system, who just don't want a relationship and they don't seem to care about the other person. A lot of it's self-centeredness. But now I was also watching, and this is going to be like a name droppy video because I watch a lot of YouTube, as such, therefore I'm forthwith. You are now going to be introduced, if you're not already introduced to these people. And I like to watch Mika's rhetoric. Now, I like her tone of voice, and I find it very calming for me. It's very flat, which is something that I like. It is not an aside or a rudeness to her. I like that she has kind of a flat tone of voice because it's very easy to listen to. I say this because a lot of women have kind of a high-pitched voice, and so sometimes it's difficult for me to listen to them. It is what it is. Anyway, she just recently dropped a video called Why the Red Pill is Losing Its Grip, and she had a lot of really good points. I will have that video linked in the description box below, even though I'm pointing to my vagina, but that's not where the description is. Thank you. But her video is so good. And it's like a short 21-minute video. And I agreed with all of her points. And one thing I did want to add to it is that I also think that there is the reality that is happening, because what happens in media and on the internet does flow into real life. I know a lot of people like to pretend that it doesn't, but it truly does. Like, just even our idea of an engagement, the ideas that we have come from somewhere, and it's not just like our own minds. We are literally getting fed this information quite regularly. We get fed this information in movies. We get fed this information on TV shows. We get it from commercials on like how you're supposed to propose. If you've ever watched The Bachelor, you've seen it, like the roses and all of this stuff. You've seen it in every movie. The rose petal, like the heart rose petal on the bed. Like all of these things don't just come to us on our own. Even doing like a whole musical number, or what are those things where they just like burst out into song? It's like, it's not a musical. It's that other thing that I really don't like, where if I got caught one of them, I would hate it. You know, maybe editing me will remember, maybe they won't. But you know what I'm talking about, where everybody's just chilling and you're just minding your business, and then these people just start singing and shit, and it really just makes you uncomfortable. Like they always try to make it look really cute. And it's not the Harlem Shake, but it's close to that. Do you know what I'm saying? Anyways, the point is, I've lost the plot again. The point is, Mika is pointing out, and I said, Mika or is it Micah? I want to say Micah, but I also want to say Mika. So, anyway, she points out all of that. And I also think that going into, there we go. The point is that in her video, she discusses a lot of different points with regards to the red pill losing its grip. And I wanted to add one more, which is that once you get into the real world, I think that following this red pill mentality for young men typically ends in really one of two ways. One of them is that they just go deeper into red pill, which I guess then, is that the black pill? Is that like the worst pill? Why is black the worst? I just want to say that I don't think that that's okay, you know? Anyways, but they go deeper, like too deep, where they're like, I'm never going to find a woman. I can't looks max. I don't really understand looks maxing. It's a weird concept to me because I truly don't get it. But they expect that they're not going to get anything ever, and they're just like, they're a lost cause. Some of them find their way out, but they don't. The other option, I'm sure there's like a nice third one in there somewhere, but I don't have the wherewithal to think about it right now. And there's food around in my mouth, and I'm trying to eat it surreptitiously so that you can't see me doing it, but here we are. Is that they go out into the real world, they try these techniques, and they realize that it's bullshit, and they wake up to the reality that they have no bitches. And they understand that when they have no bitches, why they don't have any bitches, because women don't respond to this red pill bullshit. Like, women can't really be negged anymore like they used to be. Like, you can't tell us like we're gonna die alone with cats. And I found this TikTok.
Lied to feminist women talking about how wonderful their life is because they don't have a husband, they don't have children. So they're showing, oh, today I slept in, I went to the spa, I went to Belize. They just talk about how nice their life is because they don't have the inconvenience of a husband and children. And these are young women who have been perpetually lied to. And I'm just telling you, if they do a follow-up at 50, they're not going to be happy. They're going to be working late. They're going to be lonely. They're going to have 7 cats and a couple of STDs. And then at Christmas, they're going to be all alone, very sad. And what they're not going to post is, I'm winning.
And the thing that's interesting about this to me is like, these men are so concerned about being like, oh, they're gonna get old, and then they're gonna come crawling back to us. And it's like, bro, first of all, do not threaten any of us with a good time of having 15 cats or 12 dogs. Don't threaten us with having a bunch of adorable fuzzy animals, okay? They're like, oh, you won't have a man. And we're like, have you seen my dog? I'm good, bro. I have to choose between my dog and some weirdo who wants me to wake up at 3 a.m. and make him a sandwich just because. Like, I'm choosing Bo every time because 1, he's not going to wake me up at 3 a.m. 2, if he does, it's because he's barfing in some corner of my room and I'm pretending I can't hear it. And 3, men just really aren't worth it in that regard. I even had somebody comment on my decentering men video. He was like, decenter women. And you know what I said back?
Do it.
Did he respond? No. Like, it's like we're like men and women. Sorry, this is a binary conversation because it's hard to have it in any other way right now. But men, it's funny to me that men and women are playing this game of chicken, or at least men are playing a game of chicken, but women are just literally not flinching. They just keep like, we're ready for the head-on collision. They're like, you're gonna die alone with cats. We're like, okay. They're like, you're gonna get old and no one's gonna want you. We're like, okay. You're gonna lose your value in the dating market. Okay. Nobody cares about your degree. All right. You can't do who's gonna mow the grass. All right. There's men I can hire for that. And the thing is, like, men just didn't. I've said this multiple times, but like men just didn't pay attention. Like I always say this 100,000 times, media influences. I said it in this video. Movies have been telling men for a long time, like, y'all have to get it together between Hitch, What Women Want, and the whole like the whole ilk. All of these movies been telling you, like, you have to get past it. You have to grow up. You have to stop talking about body count. You have to stop asking that question. It's immature. You have to stop like creating these weird hostile environments and being a weirdo. The point is, the red pill really just took it to like the highest possible level. And I think that women overall and femmes were just like, that's enough. And we started to, I don't like to use the word divest because it has weird connotations and I just can't. Anyways, saying decenter, but women are starting to move away from the idea that a romantic relationship is the only way to achieve full happiness and joy. I say all of this because now here we are in all of this like weird reality show glory. And I'm bringing it up in conjunction with the premiere of the Love is Blind 5 reunion because I tried to figure out how we got here. And through this weird winding road, I kind of did. We went from dating online and trying to build meaningful relationships to people trying to hook up. And overwhelmingly, I know a lot of women and femmes will say that like they enjoy their hookups, and they do, but that percentage is much smaller than is really out there. I think a lot of people who seek romantic relationships overwhelmingly want a partnership that lasts for a long time or whatever forever means to them. And I think that right now what people are seeing is that they're having difficulty finding that because people are liars, assholes, and they won't just say what they want. Instead of just like saying, I'm looking for a good time, they pretend. And men especially love to play a fun little game of pretending like they don't have feelings or need them to have sex. But if that was the case, and if that were actually true, then they wouldn't do all the things that they do to try to elicit feelings from women so that the sex is good. I'm just gonna throw that out there. Do with that what you will.
Like sucking dick and cock.
The point is now, women and men are so desperate because we're all so far apart, because I also forgot to mention one other thing, which is that we move further and further away from our point of reference. And by point of reference, what I'm getting to is when you were younger and like way back in the olden days, we used to, like in the 50s and shit, you would graduate high school, get married, have kids, have family at the end, right? Then it started switching to graduate high school, go to college in your same town, and this all took place in the same town, get married, have kids, the end. Then it moved to graduate high school, go to college outside of your town and start seeing more of the world. And chances are that you ended up staying in whatever town it is that you went to college because that's where the jobs were. And it just keeps like spreading out. And as we spread out further and further and further, your dating pool also shrinks. So you going from high school, you maybe have kind of a small dating pool. Depends. I mean, if you're in a high school in Texas, honestly, a lot of our high school campuses are the size of colleges. I wish I was kidding. I'm not. But you go to college and you go, that's like your last big bastion. And I don't say this to be depressing. I say it because it is statistically true. It is your last big bastion of running into large groups of people your age with which to date. And then after you graduate college and you go off to work, to work. I'm so sorry. I can't stop saying it. It's like, it's sad. It's like, whenever I say work, I get this like feeling in the pit of my stomach. I'm just like, why was I born this way? Anyways.
Criminal offensive side.
Your dating pool gets smaller. And so the online apps, online dating and apps were supposed to close that gap. And at one point they were. But once again, you have people who would rather be liars and weirdos and not be honest about what it is that they are seeking. And therefore people are not finding what they want. In fact, I did find an article that said that people who were married, people who got married after they had met on a dating app were less fulfilled in their marriages. And they had a whole list of reasons. My thought process is very much so that I do believe that when you meet like this, because I don't believe that we should be dating like this, and that's just my own personal belief. And I'm not talking about the past where it kind of worked and everything was kind of, I think now, I don't think it's good for us, because I think the ability to keep scrolling past somebody is not good for you, just generally. It's like shopping for another human being, and we all saw where that When? So I also don't think that that builds connection. I think that it builds like a false connection in a way, right? And again, these are just my thoughts and opinions after a long day of work. I had a ton of packages. I don't know how I finished on time today. It's messed up my brain. So here we are. But I think that it's creating this false sense of togetherness because you meet and then you're talking back and forth and you have these things in common, but then you get married and it's not the same as the imaginary relationship you had in your head, if that makes sense.
Why are you Satan?
Better to rule in hell than serve in heaven.
But also, I would add that part of that reason is a big part of it is that I don't know if everybody actually wants to get married. Like, I think a lot of people think they want to get married, but they don't know that they don't want to get married until they've gotten married. I think people want a partnership, and we haven't evolved enough to get past the point of realizing that marriage doesn't have to be the end result of your relationship, that you can partner happily. Which brings me to Love is Blind, season 5, the reunion, and shows like this. The reason that I'm talking about this isn't just because of the reunion coming up. It's just watching this entire season has been very depressing. And I couldn't figure out why it was like crushing my spirit. And I figured it out today. As I was delivering my 175th parcel today, I started thinking about the fact that season 1 of Love is Blind really brought about this idea of people meeting in unusual circumstances and despite all odds, finding love and falling in love and having their happily ever after, whatever that means. And season 5 brought Rock of Love energy. Like, they quite literally went from having a cast of people who really were interested in finding love and were tired of playing games, were tired of swiping, and wanted to put this in the hands of, for better or worse, kind of matchmakers, wanted to make an attempt to find love in an environment that they would never otherwise have access to. And season 5 is just like Jerry Springer hitting people with chairs. Like, it's wild. Where did they find these people? Where did they find them? Because it cannot be the same pool of people that they can't be using the same rules. They can't. And I really am sad because these people, the people who really do want love and really were interested in shows like this and like that's their last hope. It really is for a lot of people. And I don't think a lot of people really consider that. Like, when this show came out, for a lot of folks, it was like, this is my last hope of trying to find meaningful relationships because I cannot find it anywhere else. And I get it, right? Love is weird. Love is wild. Love is wacky. It is painful. It is extremely painful when it doesn't work out. And it's kind of like one of the only things that doesn't have a guarantee. So many of the things in our lives have guarantees. You know, if you don't like the sandwich that you ordered, you get your money back because it's disgusting to you. If you buy a television and it breaks immediately, you can return it back and it's fine. Even if they tell you that they don't have a return policy, you can get on Twitter or any social media and complain about it and then they'll fix it for you. But love doesn't work like that. Love is a gamble. Love is very dicey. I don't know why I have all these Vegas analogies, but here we go. Love is playing blackjack, you know? Do you stay at 18 or do you try for that 21? Is that how you play blackjack? Anyways, the point is, I am so sad that we've gotten into this weird place in our lives where we cannot connect with one another. And I think that as odd as this may sound for someone who's like so arrow ace, anti-relationship, anti all of that on my end, I do think that if you want to have a romantic connection, I think that it's time for us to get off these apps. I think it's time for us to stop sliding into DMs. And I think it's time for us to stop being on Love is Blind. Love is Blind, by all rights, should work. But it's on TV. Also, love at first sight should also work, but it's on TV. See, like all of these things theoretically should work if done properly, because it does work already. People do it. It's matchmaking. They do this all the time. There's arranged marriages, consensually arranged marriages, by the way. Those exist. Don't be weird. Ask. Anyways, there are consensually arranged marriages and it works. So what happened? Anyway, so what happened with Love is Blind season 5? How did we get to this place as a society? And not just that season 5, but all of these shows together. How did we get to the place where the best way to find a relationship now is to be a cast member on some random show like The Perfect Match, Love is Blind, 90 Day Fiancé? Like, I think it's time for us to unplug. That's all I gotta say. This is a long rambly video. It meant nothing. It meant everything and nothing all at the same time. If you actually made it all the way to the end of this video, like, I don't know what to say to you, but like, thank you. Drop a, dead emoji or black heart. Either one. Both things bring me joy. Thank you to my patrons and channel members, without whom I would not be able to create this weird, rambly, wild ass content. But that doesn't even make any sense today. But I wanted to put a video out. I needed to get back on the horse of filming videos. And if you like this style of video, just let me know. I will see y'all in the next one. Goodbye.
So let's get real with it. Do you know what would happen if I didn't simp? Follow me here, right? My girlfriend ain't fucking me no more. But here's the real joke. If I'm pandering, if I'm simping, I'm pandering and simping with what I'm saying for women. What demographic does your comment pander to? Quickly.